Greetings, church. This video is made to cover the kids' time as well as the Sunday sermon for Sunday, January 3rd, 2021. I'd like to start off by acknowledging that for the kids' time, there's a video that I came across last year and I found it to be especially meaningful and enjoyable. I encourage families to watch it with their children and grandchildren and then discuss what we mean when we say that Jesus is God's greatest gift to us. I hope that this will present an opportunity for you to share something of your story of faith in Jesus with your young family members. The video is from the group called the Skit Guys, and it's called The Fourth Wise Man. A link to this video can be found in the description section of this video that you're watching right now. But first, I'd like to share our Bible reading for today, followed by our sermon. And so the reading comes from Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the reign of King Herod. About that time, some wise men from eastern lands arrived in Jerusalem, asking, "Where is the newborn king of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we've come to worship him." King Herod was deeply disturbed when he heard this, as was everyone in Jerusalem. He called a meeting of the leading priests and teachers of religious law and asked, "Where is the Messiah supposed to be born?" "In Bethlehem in Judea," they said, "for this is what the prophet wrote. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not least among the ruling cities of Judah, for a ruler will come from you who will be the shepherd for my people Israel." Then Herod called for a private meeting with the wise men, and he learned from them the time when the star first appeared. Then he told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. And when you find him, come back and tell me so that I can go and worship him too." After this interview, the wise men went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy. They entered the house and saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasure chests and gave him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. When it was time to leave, they returned to their own country by another route, for God had warned them in a dream not to return to Herod. This is the word of God for the people of God. Let's all say, thanks be to God. A couple of thoughts. King, as a ruler, is supposed to know what's going on in his country, right? And the king, perhaps especially the king in Jerusalem, was also supposed to be attentive to what God was up to, right? Well, where is the newborn king of the Jews? Asked the wise men. How strange does it sound then that when the wise men arrived in Jerusalem asking where the newborn king of the Jews was, that Herod didn't know. Herod, king of Israel, didn't know. The emperor of Rome didn't know either. The shepherds knew. However, the wise men didn't have the sense to go around asking the most despised of common people where to find a newborn king. Why would they? Right from his birth, we see that Jesus' rule would be far from the ordinary expectations of a king. Jesus would not be a king who allowed systems of injustice to go on unchecked and unchallenged like Herod was doing. Jesus would not be a king who valued expensive things like gold and fine buildings. Which begs the question, did the gifts that the wise men brought honor Jesus' kingship? On one hand, we can say yes. Jesus is worthy of the traditional gifts that one would present to a king and more. On the other hand, it's clear that the wise men knew nothing about how Jesus' rule would be marked with justice for the poor and the oppressed and peace for all the earth. Perhaps a gift that would honor the character of Jesus' rule might be a shepherd's staff, a servant's robe, and a turtle dove. A shepherd's staff because Jesus is our good shepherd, leading God's people into the fullness of life, which is to be found in loving God and neighbor. A servant's robe because Jesus modeled servanthood and taught his disciples that the greatest is the servant to all the rest. A turtle dove. You can hear Dovey singing in the background behind me. A turtle dove, because it is a symbol of humility, gentleness, and peace. Of course, the wise men's gifts to the newborn King Jesus also represent the very best they had to offer, given the understanding that they had about him. The wise men have given us an example to follow. This is how we may honor Jesus with the most appropriate gift. Consider what you know about Jesus, his ministry, and what his impact on your life has been. Consider that he is worthy of the very best that you have to give. The wise men brought expensive gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. A shepherd might bring a lamb. A musician might bring a song. What gift will you present to honor him today? Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.